Hello and welcome to this video about the rise and fall of the Carolingian Empire. In the 5th century AD, the Western world changed quite a bit. German tribes had spread everywhere and had founded new kingdoms. But what happened to Western Europe in the centuries thereafter? One central figure was Charlemagne, who ruled the Carolingian Empire. In this video, we will ask ourselves three questions. First, what led up to the formation of the Carolingian Empire? Second, what important events occurred during Charlemagne's rule? In other words, why was he such an important ruler? And third, what caused the decline of the Carolingian Empire? First, what led up to the formation of the Carolingian Empire? After the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century, the Frankish kingdom was formed. At first, it was ruled by the Merovingian dynasty. Now, every time a Merovingian king died, the kingdom was divided among the king's sons, resulting in the division and fragmentation of the realm. Things would change in the 8th century when a man named Charles Martel came to power. He was not a Merovingian king, but a mayor of the palace. You could compare this function to that of a prime minister. The real power rested with him. Charles Martel restored Frankish unity and drove the Arabs back into Spain at the Battle of Poitiers in 732. Charles Martel's successor as mayor of the palace was Pepin the Short. Pepin found it quite unfair that actually he had all the power, yet he had no royal title. The Pope agreed, and in 751, Pepin was crowned king with papal approval. He was the first king of the Carolingian dynasty. In 748, Pepin's son and heir to the Frankish throne was born, Charlemagne. Second, what important events occurred during Charlemagne's rule? Charlemagne did not allow the nobles to have ownership of their lands. He merely allowed them the right to enjoy the use and profits of these lands. A fancy word for this is usufruct. In return, the nobles had to swear an oath of allegiance to the king. In this way, the nobles were forced to commit themselves to the king. Charlemagne also strengthened the central government by developing and improving the administration. The royal administration resided in Aachen, a city in present-day Germany. As a result, the Low Countries were no longer in the periphery of the empire, but they formed part of its heartland. Charlemagne also appointed palace inspectors, who had to check if the nobles executed the king's orders. Every year, the king would call the most important nobles together at a so-called diet in order to promulgate new laws, also known as capitularia. Charlemagne is also well known for having conquered parts of Italy, Germany, and Spain. This restoration of Western European unity was much appreciated by the Pope, who made him Emperor of the Romans on Christmas Day of the year 800. Giving Charlemagne the title of Emperor underlined both the strong ties between church and state and the idea of Christian continuity between the Roman Empire and the Carolingian Empire. Third, what caused the decline of the Carolingian Empire? Well, the empire was really too big to be ruled effectively, and there were attacks of Vikings and Hungarians. But there was something else. Charlemagne's successor, Louis the Pious, was really a weak and ineffective ruler. During his reign, civil war broke out among Louis's sons about who would inherit the empire. In 843, they finally settled peace with a treaty that was very bad for the unity of the realm. The Treaty of Verdun divided the empire among Louis's sons. Charles the Bold got West Francia, present-day France. Louis the German inherited East Francia, present-day Germany. And Lotharius received Middle Francia, which would last for less than 40 years. For in 880, Middle Francia was divided between West and East Francia. West Francia would develop into the Kingdom of France, and East Francia would develop into the Holy Roman Empire. The border between them remained largely the same until the late Middle Ages. In the Low Countries, the river Scheldt marked this border for centuries. This word cloud shows the most important elements of the rise and fall of the Carolingians. You can always press pause to have a closer look at it, and it's strongly recommended to watch this video twice. Don't forget to fill in the Google Forms, and see you in class.